Trickster call me in the afterlife? It's for you.
October on Disney Channel wasn't just a month, it was an event. The orange logo showing up on screen, the transitions had cobwebs, and every show suddenly decided it was time for a Halloween episode, whether it made sense or not. It was the kind of over the top seasonal celebration that made being a kid in the early 2000s feel just a little bit magical. For a few weeks each year, Disney Channel transformed into a haunted wonderland complete with themed marathons, spooky bumpers, and the promise of your favorite characters getting just a little bit weird. If you were a Disney Channel kid, you knew exactly what to expect: a little comedy, a little mischief, and just enough creepiness to make you keep the lights on that night. These Halloween specials were never about true terror, they were about atmosphere. They captured that specific kind of cozy October feeling: glow in the dark skeletons, plastic vampire teeth, caramel apples, and an excuse to stay up late on a school night. What made these specials so great was how they reflected their eras. Lizzie McGuire gave us the quintessential early 2000s Halloween, all about popularity, costumes, and that perfect mix of awkwardness and charm. Then a few years later, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody brought the haunted hotel fun, complete with pranks, ghosts, and the kind of energy that made you wish you could spend the night at the Tipton. And by the time Gravity Falls rolls around, Disney Channel had evolved. It was still funny, still family friendly, but now the scares were smarter, packed with clever writing, real stakes, and a little dose of existential dread courtesy of a jack-o'-melon. Each of these shows captured a moment in Disney Channel's history, a time when Halloween episodes were almost a rite of passage. If your show got one, it meant you made it. You were part of the seasonal lineup, forever replayed during Monstober and forever burned into the nostalgia of anyone who grew up watching. These weren't just episodes, they were annual traditions. And even now, years later, they hold up in a different way. Lizzie McGuire's Halloween still hits that nostalgic sweet spot of simpler times. Sweet Life feels like a fun sleepover with friends, and Gravity Falls remains one of the smartest and most creative takes on the holiday Disney Channel ever gave us. Together, they form a time capsule of how Disney's approach to spooky storytelling evolved alongside its audience. So today we're jumping back into the cobweb covered archive of Disney Channel's Halloween past to see what made these specials so memorable, so quotable, and so much fun to revisit. This is Into the Vault, and we're taking a look at three of the best Disney Channel Halloween episodes ever made. Before diving into our first special, let's start with Lizzie McGuire, the show that defined Disney Channel's early 2000s identity, starring Hilary Duff as the relatable daydreaming teen navigating middle school. The series mixed live action with animated thought bubbles of Lizzie's inner voice. It captured every awkward, funny, and heartfelt moment of growing up. Its Halloween episode, Night of the Day of the Dead, takes that same charm and wraps it in a story about friendship, superstition, and what happens when ignoring tradition unleashes a little Halloween mischief. The episode opens with Lizzie's younger brother Matt plotting his annual Halloween candy strategy with his best friend Christian. Like every overconfident kid on October 31st, they're determined to conquer the neighborhood and achieve maximum sugar intake. Lizzie wanders in and, in classic sibling fashion, tells Matt he should dress as a troll so he won't even need makeup. Matt shoots back that he was going to be the ugliest kid on earth, but Lizzie's already got that covered. This is a great bit of sibling banter that feels authentic years later. This is also our first glimpse of Lizzie's signature animated alter ego, who pops up to narrate her thoughts in real time. When I was younger, I remember thinking these cutaways were clever and added personality. Watching now, they feel a bit jarring, almost like the show pauses for a mini cartoon intermission every few minutes. Still, it's a creative touch that made Lizzie McGuire stand out from every other teen sitcom on TV at the time. Lizzie's parents come upstairs with news that immediately derails her plans. Matt won't be going trick or treating this year. Instead, he's headed to the Halloween Fright Night at Lizzie's school. Naturally, Lizzie is less than thrilled at the idea of her little brother tagging along. But the moment Matt realizes his attendance will make Lizzie's night miserable, he's suddenly all in. Forget candy, ruining his sister's fun sounds like the perfect Halloween treat. We cut to Lizzie's school where students are busy planning the big Halloween party. While discussing decorations, Lizzie's best friend Miranda suggests adding skeletons to celebrate Dia de los Muertos and honor her heritage. It's a thoughtful idea, but naturally, Kate, the self appointed queen of the planning committee, immediately shuts it down, calling it lame. Because what's a Halloween episode without casual cultural insult, right? The rest of the committee actually sides with Miranda after hearing her explain the importance of Dia de los Muertos and share a spooky story to prove her point. A kid once mocked his ancestors and later was found in a coffin with white hair and no voice. Classic Disney creep factor. Lizzie, meanwhile, was more focused on her role in the festivities. She announces she wants to be a glamorous vampire mistress in the Dungeon of Terror attraction. Kate, ever the bully, agrees, but only if Lizzie cleans out the old janitor's closet where the dungeon will be set up. It's pure Kate, petty, condescending, and making everyone else do her dirty work. Lizzie and her best friend Gordo head to the janitor's closet, grumbling the entire way about what a terrible person Kate is. Gordo isn't exactly thrilled that Lizzie's roped him into manual labor, and he wastes no time reminding her that Kate is once again pulling the strings. Lizzie, ever the optimist, promises that her cousin Heather will be visiting next summer and can convince her to finally go out with Gordo. That's all the motivation he needs. Suddenly he's scrubbing like his life depends on it. What follows is a delightfully dated montage of the two cleaning the closet, complete with the kind of upbeat early 2000s pop track that could have easily played on Radio Disney. Lizzie tells Kate the room is finally spotless, proud of all the work she and Gordo put in. But in true Kate fashion, she immediately pulls the rug out, deciding she'll be the vampire mistress instead, and assigning Lizzie the oh-so-glamorous role of the clown. Because nothing says high school hierarchy quite like stealing someone's costume and handing them a wig and a red nose. As everyone sets up for the Halloween party, Kate is unsurprisingly back to her bullying ways. She turns on the fake charm the moment Miranda's parents arrive, suddenly acting fascinated as they share the meaning and traditions behind Dia de los Muertos. But the second they leave, her real attitude returns. Kate snaps at Miranda to get that stupid junk off the refreshment table and shove it in the corner. Miranda fires back, warning her not to disrespect her ancestors, or she might just invite some bad luck. Lizzie chimes in, telling Kate she shouldn't be a vampire, she should be a sewer rat instead. As Lizzie and Miranda leave, the camera lingers on the skeleton decorations, and their eyes begin to glow, hinting that maybe Miranda's warning wasn't just talk. It's now party time, and Lizzie, stuck in her clown costume, is handing out balloons to the guests. The only problem? She has no idea how to make balloon animals. So she just declares every twisted balloon a worm, a snake, or when she's really out of ideas, spaghetti. Matt naturally mocks her for it, calling her balloon animals lame. Gordo, meanwhile, wins a prize called a Burger Buddy, which looks exactly like something you'd find in a dollar bin at a 2003 carnival. Things take a spooky turn when Mastro's over eating a tamale, and Miranda is horrified to realize he's eating the food offering for Dia de los Muertos. She warns him that he's offended the spirits and awakened dark forces. Gordo shrugs it off, insisting it's no different than any other superstition, and Matt will be fine. But then Matt notices his lemonade has turned black and moldy. Never a good sign at a middle school Halloween party. And right on cue, the skeleton decorations vanish from the display. Matt spots the skeletons casually walking out the door like they're heading to their next haunting. Lizzie rushes to Miranda, admitting she's finally officially freaked out but still insists it's all superstition. Then comes the real shocker. She says Matt has vanished, leaving nothing behind but a pile of dust. Gordo, ever the skeptic, refuses to believe it. He insists Matt's probably just hiding in the bathroom, and decides to mock the situation by daring the spirits to turn him into dust. Right on cue, the skeletons reappear, and even Gordo starts to lose his cool. Miranda and Kate scramble to figure out what's going on when they suddenly hear Gordo's voice echoing through the room. It's not coming from behind them, it's coming from inside the Burger Buddy he won earlier. Naturally, mayhem, the fun kind, ensues. Kate immediately blames Miranda, accusing her of causing the mess by bringing the skeletons, while Miranda fires back that maybe Kate shouldn't have mocked the dead in the first place. Their argument escalates until they accidentally knock the Burger Buddy off the table, shattering it, and apparently Gordo's temporary new home. Before they can even process what just happened, Lizzie reappears, moving stiffly like a zombie, eyes glazed over, and starts lumbering towards Kate while knocking over decorations in her path. Kate and Miranda sprint through the halls with zombie Lizzie stumbling after them, arms stretched out like something straight from a low-budget horror flick. Kate panics, insisting Lizzie's taking things way too far, while Miranda calmly explains that this isn't Lizzie. It's the spirits punishing Kate for disrespecting the Dia de los Muertos display. They barricade themselves in a classroom as Lizzie pounds on the door, the sound echoing like a heartbeat through the room. While hiding in the closet, Miranda insists there's only one way to lift the curse. They'll need a graveyard dirt and a gallon of blood. Since neither are available, she suggests that chocolate cake and fruit punch will have to do. Before they can act, the skeleton suddenly bursts from the closet, sending both girls screaming and bolting into the hallway. Once they stop running, Kate, now in full panic mode, grabs the cake and punch and starts smearing them all over herself. Following Miranda's hurried instructions, Miranda tells her to perform the Dance of the Dead, and Kate flails around wildly, covering her head to toe in frosting and punch, desperately hoping it'll work. The moment is peak Disney Channel ridiculous, over the top, and kind of perfect. Then, in true Halloween special fashion, the lights come on, the music fades, and everyone bursts out laughing. The entire thing was a prank orchestrated by Lizzie, Miranda, and even Miranda's parents. It's the kind of ending that fits the show perfectly. Goofy, harmless, and a reminder that sometimes the best scares are the ones that make you laugh after. Overall, Night of the Day of the Dead holds up as a fun, nostalgic slice of early 2000s Disney Channel. It balances humor, friendship, and light supernatural elements in a way that's accessible to kids but still entertaining for adults revisiting it. The Dia de los Muertos angles gives it a unique identity compared to other Halloween episodes, even if the cultural handling is a bit simplified. Hilary Duff's charm carries the episode, the jokes still land, and while the scares are tame, the creativity and energy makes it one of the more memorable Lizzie McGuire episodes. As we move on, let's transition from middle school mischief to high-rise hauntings. After Lizzie's lighthearted supernatural chaos, we're trading the classroom for a luxury hotel, because what's spookier than a haunted suite on the top floor? It's time to check in at the Tipton Hotel. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was one of Disney Channel's biggest hits of the mid-2000s. Following twin brothers Zack and Cody Martin, played by twin brothers Dylan and Cole Sprouse, as they caused nonstop trouble living in a luxury hotel with their single mom, who performed there as a lounge singer. The show thrived on its mix of slapstick comedy and surprisingly heartfelt moments, and its Halloween episode, The Ghost in Suite 613, is one of the most iconic examples. It takes the hotel setting and turns it into a haunted playground, complete with ghost stories, jump scares, and the kind of kid-friendly suspense that made every Disney Channel fan want to sleep with the lights on just a little bit longer. We open inside the Tipton Hotel, where Carrie, Zack and Cody's endlessly patient mom, is already fed up with her son's disaster of a room. Cody, the more responsible twin, starts tidying up while Zack naturally finds a way to turn cleaning into wrestling practice. Carrie walks back in just in time to see them in mid-brother brawl. Cody turns on the charm using his best baby voice to say Zack scared him again, earning some instant sympathy. He reminds Zack that his brother is sensitive, to which Zack proudly declares that scaring Cody is his job. Without missing a beat, Carrie fires him from the position. It's classic Sweet Life energy, playful, fast, and full of that early 2000s sibling banter that still works today. Zack proudly shows off a new fart machine to Maddie, London, and Cody, using it to prank poor Esteban and make it seem like he's the culprit. The nearby guests are not impressed. Mr. Mosby appears and, mortified, tells Esteban to excuse himself, while Esteban insists he's innocent. Frustrated, he tells Zack that he's had enough of his jokes, but Zack can't resist. He says it's just as funny as when Cody got scared earlier. That's when London brings up the real reason she thinks Cody's been jumpy, the ghost in Suite 613. Zack's curiosity sparks immediately, while Cody's instinct is pure self-preservation. He's already coming up with excuses to stay far away from anything haunted. Maddie reassures everyone there's no such thing as ghosts, but London confidently disagrees, claiming she saw one herself. Apparently, it was so terrifying she dropped her new purse with $1,000 in it, and the rest of them start running to go and get the money. As they run, they bump into Muriel, the ever-sarcastic hotel maid, and ask where the infamous suite is. Muriel warns them to stay far away if they value their lives, but after they pester her again, she just gives in and hands over the key. She explains that the ghost haunting Suite 613 was a woman named Irene, who was beautiful, rich, and checked into the Tipton for her honeymoon back in 1942. London dramatically adds that her husband went off to war and never returned. Zack, trying to sound serious, asks if he died in battle, but Muriel quickly deflates the drama, saying he actually ran off with an Italian girl and opened a pizza parlor. Furious, Irene hurled her hairbrush at the mirror, shattering it, and, according to legend, that's when her restless spirit began haunting the suite. As they turn to leave, a figure in a welding mask suddenly jumps out, sending everyone screaming. Of course, it's not a ghost. It's Arwen, the hotel's eccentric maintenance man. He says he's wearing the mask because it gives him an air of mystery, which is just about the most Arwen thing imaginable. When Cody nervously asks if he's ever seen the ghost, Arwen admits he hasn't, but he has seen something far scarier: Muriel in a hairnet. He quickly scurries off to fix a toilet, only to walk straight into a wall. It's a perfectly timed bit of physical comedy that lightens the mood before the real hauntings begin. They finally make it to the suite, though the door refuses to budge, until in perfect horror fashion it creaks open on its own. Maddie insists it's just the wind, but nobody looks convinced. Inside the room is pure Disney Channel spooky: a shattered mirror, a faded photo of Irene, and a creepy gargoyle perched outside the window. A faint clicking echoes through the air, which Zack confidently claims is just Cody's teeth chattering. Then the door slams shut by itself. They spot London's missing purse on a table, but when London grabs it, her money's gone. Furious, she declares that the ghost is so dead. That's when Mr. Mosby appears, startling everyone into a synchronized scream. Zack immediately grills him about the ghost, but Mosby insists he's never seen her, then adds they should probably leave before she gets annoyed. When Zack threatens to ask around the lobby in front of the guests, Mosby reluctantly gives in, setting up the next ghostly tale. Mosby begins telling the story from his early days at the Tipton, back when he was just a bellhop. He describes feeling a sudden rush of cold air and catching a strong whiff of pizza, an oddly specific scent for a haunting. Then he hears the ghostly voice of Irene, who bitterly declares she hates pizza because it reminds her of her unfaithful husband. Before Mosby can process what's happening, she hurls something at him. The door slams shut, and he takes a spectacular fall. Thankfully, as he explains, his voluminous fro cushioned the impact and saved him from a concussion, but not from spraining his ankle. He jokes that it ended his boogie, oogie, oogie days for good. Just as everyone is absorbed in the story, Zack jumps out from under a sheet and scares the group, laughing hysterically at his own prank. Cody, unimpressed, chases him straight out of the room. Back in their suite, Cody insists he wasn't scared, but Zack can't help calling him out. If he was so brave, why was he shaking in the elevator? Never one to back down from a challenge, Zack dares Cody to spend the night in Suite 613, betting $5 he'll run out screaming. Carrie walks in just in time to hear the plan and immediately shuts it down, though she reluctantly agrees to let Maddie and London stay with them to keep things under control. She reassures Cody that ghosts aren't real, otherwise her mother-in-law would have haunted her years ago. Cody, trying to prove himself, accepts the dare and seals the deal with a handshake. It's the perfect setup for a classic Disney Channel ghost hunt. Outside Suite 613, the group waits impatiently for London, who's making poor Esteban carry her massive trunk, because of course she brought a full wardrobe to a ghost hunt. They finally step inside, and right on cue, the power cuts out. Arwen bursts in wearing his usual panic expression, startling everyone before quickly getting the lights back on. He insists the ghost must have knocked out the power, claiming tonight is his golden opportunity to finally see the spirit for himself. Ever the overzealous inventor, Arwen sets up a bunch of ghost hunting gadgets that look like they were cobbled together from spare vacuum parts. The equipment starts beeping wildly, locking onto the portrait on the wall. Then the picture starts to move. Arwen lets out a shriek and bolts from the room, yelling that the ghost is angry. Esteban, ever dramatic, declares that they must help the spirit cross over to a better place. Esteban begins a seance, lighting candles and dramatically calling upon the spirit. Almost immediately, one of the candles ignites on its own, setting the tone for what's about to be a full-blown Disney Channel haunted moment. Esteban hands it up with a comically over-the-top chant while Maddie rolls her eyes, still unconvinced. That is, until Esteban warns that non-believers will be punished, and her chair starts to shake. Lightning flashes, the candles flicker out, and Esteban suddenly appears possessed. The table rises into the air as he announces in a chilling voice that she is here. The ghost of Irene speaks through him, lamenting that she is doomed for all eternity, but the tension doesn't last long. London catches a whiff of pizza, which sends the ghost into another rage. Maddie tries to defuse the situation, blurts out that she loves pizza, only to be snatched into the darkness. One by one, the group disappears. Cody's blanket slides away, dragging him into the shadows, and London vanishes next. Zack, now alone, yells for Esteban to hang up on the ghost, but Irene replies to him that Esteban is gone. The lights go out completely as Zack panics, fumbling for the door, only for the knob to break off in his hand. He ducks behind a couch and the painting on the wall starts talking to him before a skeleton bursts out of the closet. Then a giant spider drops from the ceiling as ghostly figures surround him. And just when it looks like Zack's met his ghostly end, everyone pulls off their sheets. It was all a prank. Cody smugly reminds Zack he owes him $5, and the special effects were courtesy of Arwen. It's a classic Disney Channel payoff, equal parts spooky and silly, that captures exactly why this episode has become such a fan favorite. Zack calls everyone mean for gaining up on him, but Maddie explains they just wanted him to see how it feels to be on the receiving end of one of his pranks. Zack grins and insists the joke's on them, claiming he wasn't scared at all. He chases Cody out of the room as they collide with Carrie and Mr. Mosby in the hallway. Carrie scolds Cody and tells him to apologize, joking that she never thought Zack would actually be afraid of a ghost. Just then, a hotel guest overhears the commotion and asks if the Tipton is really haunted, because if it is, people would probably pay extra to stay in a haunted suite. It's a perfect punchline for the episode's blend of spooky fun and sitcom humor. Zack and Cody return to Suite 613 to grab Cody's forgotten blanket because, of course, he'd leave it behind after all that. As they step inside, the room feels eerily quiet. Then, out of the shadows, a woman who looks exactly like the one from the portrait appears, holding Cody's blanket without saying a word. She hands it to them and she calmly walks straight through the wall. The boys stare in disbelief for a half a second before sprinting out of the suite faster than you can say real ghost. It's a perfectly spooky, twisty ending that reminds you maybe the legends at the Tipton weren't entirely made up after all. The Ghost in Suite 613 is easily one of the best Halloween episodes Disney Channel ever produced. It balances its goofy humor with genuine atmosphere, delivering just enough eeriness to thrill younger viewers without going overboard. The chemistry between the cast, especially Dylan and Cole Sprouse, carries every scene, and the side characters like Esteban and Arwen bring their trademark charm to the mayhem. The practical effects, while simple, still hold up for what the show was aiming for, and the final twist with the real ghost gives it a satisfying and memorable ending. It's a perfect mix of scares, laughs, and nostalgia that showcases why The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody remains such a standout of mid 2000s Disney Channel. After spending a night at the Tipton, we're heading somewhere even stranger: Gravity Falls. While Sweet Life delivered laughs and light scares, Gravity Falls took Disney Channel's spooky storytelling to a whole new level. Created by Alex Hirsch, the series follows twins Dipper and Mabel Pines as they spend the summer with their eccentric great uncle Stan, who runs a tourist trap called the Mystery Shack. What starts as a quirky comedy quickly evolves into one of Disney's smartest, most mysterious shows ever, mixing cryptic symbols, eerie monsters, and genuine emotion. Its Halloween themed episode, Summerween, fits perfectly into that tradition, a holiday celebrated twice a year in Gravity Falls, where instead of pumpkins, people carve jack-o'-melons. It's funny, weird, heartfelt, and a perfect evolution of Disney Channel's Halloween spirit. Grunkle Stan takes Mabel and Dipper to the Summerween Superstore, a hilarious parody of Spirit Halloween that instantly nails the small town weirdness of Gravity Falls. Stan explains that the townspeople love Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year because once just isn't enough for this place. As the kids run wild through the aisles of rubber bats, fog machines, and haunted props, the show perfectly captures the mix of excitement and chaos that comes with Halloween shopping. In true Gravity Falls fashion, their fun gets a little out of hand, and the poor cashier ends up calling the police as they bolt out of the store, setting the tone for a holiday that's about to go very, very wrong. Mabel and Dipper are bursting with excitement for Summerween, and Seuss can't help but comment that he's never seen them so hyped up. Mabel proudly declares that back home she and Dipper are basically the king of trick-or-treating. That's when Seuss warns them about the town's local legend, the Summerween Trickster, a creature who goes door to door devouring kids who don't have the proper Summerween spirit. Naturally, the twins laugh it off and focus on the important stuff: candy. But when they realize all they have is a pile of off brand sweets, they toss them without a second thought, which, as we all know, is a classic way to tempt fate in any Halloween story. Soon after, Wendy and Robbie stop by, and Wendy invites Dipper to a party, gently teasing him about being too old to trick or treat. Dipper, trying to play it cool, says he might stop by, but the invitation plants a seed of doubt. He's suddenly torn between growing up and hanging on to one of his favorite childhood traditions with Mabel, a conflict that becomes the heart of this episode. Mabel proudly introduces her friends to Stan, who's in full grumpy uncle mode. Dipper walks in and Mabel immediately notices he's not wearing his costume, something she takes as a personal betrayal to the holiday. Dipper claims he's sick, hoping it'll get him out of trick-or-treating, but his excuse doesn't last long. A terrifying shadowy figure appears at the door and Dipper panics, slamming it in his face. The knocking continues, louder each time, until Mabel nervously opens the door again. The stranger, offended by their lack of Halloween spirit, declares that they've insulted him and must now pay with their lives. Then, in true Gravity Falls fashion, things escalate fast. He devours Gordy, one of Mabel's friends, in a single gulp. The creature known as the Summerween Trickster announces that the group must gather 500 pieces of candy before the last jack-o'-melon goes out, or they'll be next. With that chilling ultimatum, he slithers away into the night. Mabel is thrilled by the situation. If they have to collect 500 pieces of candy, that means Dipper has to go trick-or-treating with her. Seuss bursts onto the scene just as Dipper's explaining everything, immediately recognizing the creature as the legendary Summerween Trickster. Mabel rallies her friends, determined to prove that this monster picked the wrong crew to mess with. Dipper, still torn between impressing Wendy at the party and keeping his sister happy, protests that they can't spend the whole night trick-or-treating. But before he can talk himself out of it, the group grabs their candy bags and drags them along into the night. It's a perfect setup for the episode's mix of heartfelt sibling tension, spooky adventure, and Gravity Falls' signature weirdness. A group of trick or treaters show up at the Mystery Shack, and Stan tries his best to scare them, but the kids are completely unfazed and just demand candy. They brag that they've been watching horror movies since they were 2, so nothing can scare them now. Stan grumbles that they'll be afraid eventually, though even he doesn't seem convinced. We then cut to Mabel and Dipper heading out to trick or treat, bags in hand and mission clear. Dipper questions why they can't just buy candy like normal people, but Mabel insists that it takes all the fun out of trick or treat or die. They stop at an old lady's house where everyone gets one piece of candy, except Dipper, since he's still not in costume. Mabel begs him to put it on to help their odds, and just as the two bicker, the Summerween Trickster appears once again, looming over them and reminding them that they better hurry if they want to live. It's the perfect midpoint escalation, funny, creepy, and exactly the kind of spooky adventure that Gravity Falls does best. The kids return to the Mystery Shack and Stan gives his scare tactics another try, but the same tough crowd isn't impressed. Determined to prove he's still got it, he asks what actually scares them, only for the kids to whip out a phone and show him a horror video that makes him jump instead. Mortified, Stan mutters to himself, giving a self-deprecating pep talk about how he used to be the king of the scares. It's a short but funny moment that perfectly captures Gravity Falls' balance of clever humor and character-driven comedy. Dipper finally shows up in costume and joins the group for trick or treating. Their first stop goes surprisingly well. The guy at the door dumps an entire bowl of candy into their bags, kicking off a classic Gravity Falls montage of sugar collecting mayhem. We see the kids sprinting from house to house, their haul growing by the minute, with Dipper half heartedly trying to act like he's not actually enjoying himself. They count along the way, inching closer to their 500-piece goal until they're down to needing just one last piece. That's when Wendy and Robbie appear, catching Dipper off guard. They ask if he's headed to the party, and he awkwardly lies, saying he's on his way, just watching the trick or treaters. Mabel overhears and realizes what's really going on. Dipper's been trying to rush the night so he could ditch her for the party. It's a genuinely emotional moment that hits at the heart of their sibling dynamic. Mabel's hurt that he's abandoned her on her favorite holiday, and as they argue, the camera pans back to reveal their candy haul has mysteriously vanished, and the last jack-o'-melon is flickering, moments from burning out. It's a perfect blend of humor, tension, and Gravity Falls' heart. They manage to relight the last jack-o'-melon just in time, breathing a collective sigh of relief, though their exhale accidentally snuffs the flame right back out. Almost immediately, the Summerween Trickster reappears, demanding the candy he was promised. The monster gives chase, grabbing all of them in his taffy-covered grasp until Suze barrels in with the truck and runs him over. For a moment, it seems like they've won. On the drive home, Mabel stays quiet, still upset with Dipper for trying to ditch her earlier. But before they can talk it out, she spots something horrifying. The trickster's gooey remains are reforming in the road. The creature leaps onto the truck, sending them crashing straight through the Summerween Superstore. The kids dash inside to hide, weaving between shelves of costumes and decorations. In a rare moment of honesty, Dipper admits he thought he was getting too old for trick or treating, but Mabel tells him that's exactly why it matters. They only have so many more years to celebrate together. The kids throw on makeshift costumes from the store and sneak towards the exit, but Suze, being Suze, can't resist pressing a talking skeleton display. The noise alerts the trickster, who grabs and swallows him whole. Thinking fast, Dipper and Mabel attack, slicing the monster open, only to discover saltwater taffy spilling out. They realize the trickster is made entirely of unwanted candy kids toss aside every year, cursed and bitter from being rejected. He roars that no one will eat him, so now he'll eat them. But Suze, ever the hero, eats his way out from inside the creature and declares the candy actually tastes good. Finally satisfied that someone appreciates him, the trickster dissolves peacefully, ending his sugary reign of terror. Back at Stan's, the same group of trick-or-treaters sneak into his room while he's getting ready to shower. Their smug attitudes vanish the instant they see Stan standing there in nothing but his underwear, finally giving them the scare he'd been trying for all night. It's a quick, perfectly awkward gag that wraps up his subplot with a laugh and one last bit of classic Gravity Falls humor. The kids make it back to Stan's just in time to crash on the couch, exhausted but happy. Wendy asks Dipper why he never showed up to the party, and he admits the truth. He was out trick-or-treating with Mabel. Instead of teasing him, Wendy just laughs and says the party was lame anyway, which makes Dipper feel a little bit better about his choice. Mabel's still bummed that they never got to eat any of their candy, but Stan, ever the wild card, pulls out giant bags of sweets and declares the night a success. They all settle in to watch a scary movie together, the flickering light from the TV bouncing off the jack-o'-melons. Stan, in his usual deadpan way, announces that Summerween is all about bringing the family together to celebrate pure evil. It's the perfect ending, warm, funny, and a little wicked, just like Gravity Falls itself. Summerween is one of those rare animated holiday episodes that perfectly captures everything that makes Gravity Falls special. It's a mix of heartfelt emotion, creative world building, and genuinely clever humor. It's both a love letter to Halloween and a bittersweet look at growing up, using Dipper and Mabel's sibling dynamic as the emotional anchor. The Trickster is one of the show's most memorable one off villains, equal parts creepy and tragic, and the Candy Twist is a surprisingly funny yet thoughtful metaphor for rejection and forgotten traditions. Visually, it's packed with the series' trademark atmosphere and tiny background details that rewards repeat viewings. Out of all the Disney Channel's Halloween offerings, Summerween might just be the perfect blend of nostalgia, sincerity, and spookiness. And that's it for our Halloween adventures through Disney Channel's spookiest specials. So, what's next as we wrap up our Halloween month? We're taking everything we've learned about ghosts, ghouls, and glowing jack-o'-melons and heading straight into Pixar territory. That's right, our next stop is Coco. It's a film that's not just about the afterlife, but about family, memory, and music. It captures the same spirit of Dia de los Muertos that Lizzie McGuire only hinted at, and brings it to life with stunning animation and heart. So grab your guitar, light your candles, and get ready, because next time Into the Vault is heading to the land of the dead. Let's open the vault.